I want you to think about the last time you watched a movie. Which movie was it? Did you watch it all the way through without pausing it? Without checking your phone? Without doing something else entirely? For some of us, that's actually a pretty rare experience lately. You see, going to the movies used to mean sitting down in a dark room with complete strangers you didn't know. It meant putting your life off for 2 hours, maybe more, and just watching something, your full attention on a story. And as I started thinking about it, I noticed something very interesting. Our way of watching films has changed. There's no doubt about that. But as I started analyzing this thought, I noticed something else too. Not only the way we experience films changed, the way we experience life itself changed too. Because the truth is, we live inside routines. We wake up, we check our phones, we have breakfast, we go to work, go to school, go through our days. But then, what do we do to entertain ourselves? We scroll. And sure, we still watch films, but we watch films while scrolling. We still listen to music, but we listen to music while studying. You see where I'm going here? The things we do for entertainment have actually quietly blended into the background of our lives, and we don't really enjoy them anymore, do we? Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is María José Fernández, and I'm a 17-year-old film enthusiast. And one of the places where I'm able to fully focus myself is in a movie theater. I love going to the movies. You see, I think there's something so magical and so interesting about sitting in a room with complete strangers and just watching something another human made. Everything about that experience is magical to me. Even the buttery, cheesy smell of popcorn somehow manages to make me just focus myself. And I think that this experience for me means being able to slow down. To really just pause my life for a few hours and just do something I really enjoy. I understand that film is not like everyone's cup of tea, so I'd like for you all to take a moment with me and think about something that makes you, you. What makes you happy? What makes you slow down? What makes you pause your life for a moment and just enjoy doing what you're doing? It can be cooking, it can be writing, journaling, talking to someone you love. All these things are valid. But what I really want you to think about is how your body feels when you're doing this thing you really enjoy. Got it? Well, I want to explain what happens in your brain first. In your brain, when you're doing all these things you really enjoy, there's two main things happening, right? The first thing that happens is that your brain releases two chemicals that are very important in this happy, relaxed feeling we get. The first one is dopamine, which is mainly responsible for this sense of motivation, happiness, like that really tingly feeling you get when you're happy. That's dopamine. And serotonin is mainly responsible for this sense of relaxation and motivation you get when you do all these things you really like. When these two chemicals come together, something happens to the stress hormone, which is called cortisol. When these two chemicals rise, cortisol actually decreases, which in simpler terms just means that you stop being stressed and you start being really happy. Now, I want to talk to you about a study that was made, no, sorry, that's after. I want to talk to you about this concept. This concept is mindfulness. Some of you may have heard it because it's like really popular in meditation and all those like very zen things. Well, mindfulness is a concept that was developed by Jon Kabat-Zinn. In this theory, Jon Kabat-Zinn explains very briefly that being mindful is just enjoying being in the present, right? You're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're just here, you're now, and you enjoy being here. Right, so this study actually comes here, and in 2004, scientists really got together and were like, well, we need to study the attention span of this generation. This generation was essentially millennials. So in 2004, when this study was first made, scientists found that the average attention span was of about 2.5 minutes, which means around 150-ish seconds. 20 years later, that means in 2024, when this study was then realized, it was during our generation, which is Gen Z. So scientists found that in Gen Z, the average attention span is actually of 40 seconds. Not a full minute, not full 60 seconds. 40 seconds. That means that in 20 years, since this study was first made, our average span decreased by 70%. That's more than a half. And while these scientists were doing this research and stuff, they found that the average attention span decreasing is actually directly linked to the average usage of technologies, especially our phones, our mobile devices. So it's not because our brains are lazy per se, it's just that we don't really ask them to concentrate anymore, right? Think about all these TikToks and Reels we watch in our daily lives. How many of those videos actually last more than 30 seconds? That's actually the full concept of these apps, isn't it? The fact that we cannot concentrate anymore, the fact that we cannot pay attention to anything for more than 30 seconds. Now, I want to share a little quote with you that I read a while ago. It's very simple. It's said by a philosopher and a monk called Thich Nhat Hanh. So Thich Nhat Hanh thinks that life is only available in the present moment, right? It's very simple. And when I thought about it first, I was like, well, yeah, you cannot time travel, right? You can live in the future, you can't live in the past. But you see, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, isn't there just a huge difference between being in the present and being present? The thing is that there is actually a huge difference. Because what is life if not the recollection of memories and daily experiences that we go through our daily? And what happens if we're way too distracted to notice all this? What happens if we're way too distracted to live through all of this? Doesn't that just make us people who are not living, but just existing? So, ladies and gentlemen, my message today is pretty simple. Look for moments that pull you out of autopilot. Because I think that in a busy world, there is nothing more powerful and more important than being able to pull ourselves out of this monotony. I want to challenge you all to do something the moment you get out of this room. Watch a film, but don't scroll while you're watching it. Talk to someone you love, and actually pay attention to what they're saying to you. Do something you truly enjoy without pausing it, without distracting yourselves, right? Because, you see, I think that in a world with so much stimuli and so much distractions and such a quick-paced world, I think we have to be rebels about it. I think we have to dare and challenge ourselves to live slowly, to take pauses, to do things we enjoy, to remember the joy of being alive, and actually find things that remind us that we're not actually just existing, but we are living. Thank you very much.